Hey racers, John Racer3 today, back for another Hot Wheels video. Today we've got 32 modern GT cars about to take on the John Racer3 Super Speedway with the fat track, an absolutely incredible track to breed some insane pack racing. Now before I get into the tournament, there are a couple things I need to explain. The first thing I want to explain for you guys is the cars. As you can see, we have multiple different kinds of GT3 cars, all in their own respective teams. We have the big teams, which is Ford with the Ford GT-LM. We got the Lamborghini team with the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo. We've got the Cadillac team, the Corvette team, the Mercedes-AMG team, the BMW team, and the Aston Martin team, all with 3 cars. And then for our smaller teams, we got Renault with 2, Bentley with 2, Dodge with 2, Toyota with 2, and then some single car teams in Porsche, Audi, and Nissan. And I know that this Toyota isn't actually a GT3 racing car, but it looks good and I wanted to race it in the tournament anyway. So there's a little bit of explanation for that. But the way this is going to work is the cars are going to be organized in each races so that all of the teams, like the Ford GT team, aren't going to be racing each other in the first round. They'll be spread out throughout the field, and that'll go through for all of these cars. The smaller teams will be racing against the bigger teams. The bigger teams will be racing up against everybody, and I guess the matchups will make a lot more sense when the cars are on the track. The second thing I wanted to explain a little bit are the rules. Now the rules for this tournament, it's going to be a John Racer3 Grand Prix, so it's going to follow all of the Grand Prix rules that you see on the screen in front of you. Basically, the gist that you have to remember is there's going to be 3 laps. The car that's leading at the end of lap 3 will be the victor. And since this is a huge tournament, there are also some elimination factors, with the elimination factors being this: the top 2 cars in each race will move on to the next round, and the bottom 2 will be eliminated. This is going to breed for some crazy races with all 32 of these cars, and I am super excited to see which cars come out on top. Rules can be somewhat confusing, and I know those graphics weren't the most easy thing to read, but trust me, it'll make a lot more sense once these cars are on track and racing. So I'm just going to stop the yapping, I'm going to set up the matchups, and then we're going to get right into this GT3 championship. And also, for viewers who are super interested in this tournament, this is actually part 1 of a 3-part Triple Crown YouTube series that there will be more information on at the end of this video. And just like that, the matchups are set. They are set, so all the manufacturers are not racing against each other in that first round. All of the teams are trying to race all of the other teams, and they should be as even as possible. Now, this will be shuffled by the time they are put on the grid for the Grand Prix, but here are the matchups. We've got Renault, Ford, Aston Martin, Cadillac, Bentley, Lamborghini, BMW, Nissan, Audi, Mercedes, again, maybe if I said that, Porsche, Toyota. We got a ton of brands here about to race head-to-head for this Grand Prix. And remember, bottom 2 are eliminated each race, top 2 move on all the way until the finals, where it is a winner takes all. Now let's get right into the racing with our first matchup. The cars are all lined up for race 1. In race 1, we've got the Cadillac in position 1 with the Aston Martin on the outside, with the rear row being the Ford GT and the Renault. Who's going to lead after lap 1? Let the racing commence. And it's going to be a huge push. The Aston Martin's going to pull ahead with an insane run. The Renault's going to jump up to 2nd, Cadillac 3rd, and the Ford GT falls back to 4th. Here we go, lap 2, Renault jumps up to the outside lane. The Renault's going to have a run on the outside as he passes the Aston Martin and takes the lead going into lap 3. The Ford tries to pass the Aston Martin, but it's not going to be enough. The Cadillac falls back to 4th. As we go into lap 3, the French have moved from 4th to 1st, with the Brits on the outside in the front row and the Americans in the back. Let's see who leads on lap 3, and let's see who gets eliminated. It's going to be a close battle, but the Cadillac's going to sneak around the outside to take the lead and the win of the first race. The Aston Martin's going to finish up in 2nd, eliminating the Renault and the Ford in the first race. What a race. We've got Ford and Renault unfortunately losing one of their cars on the team. That only means one more car for Renault in the tournament. And then we have the Cadillac and Aston Martin moving on to race another day for their team. Insane stuff. But next we have our next matchup. We have the Bentley we have the BMW, we have another Cadillac, and we have a Lamborghini. All right, let's see what these teams can do going into lap 1. Oh, a huge push from Team Lamborghini on the BMW. The BMW is going to throw some blocks on the backstretch, just barely beating out the Lamborghini, and then it's going to be carnage in the back with the Bentley wrecking in front of the Cadillac. Some insane speed out of those top 2 cars. Let's see what happens after lap 2. That Lamborghini just pulls ahead and he's just gonna fly around the track, crossing the finish line first. He's gonna pass the BMW going into lap 3 with the Bentley and Cadillac wrecking out again. The top 2 advance and it's looking pretty good for our top 2 right now. The Lamborghini and the BMW are dominating. Who will take it on lap 3? A slow start from the cars behind, but it's not gonna matter. It's gonna be the Lamborghini and the BMW both moving on to the next round. The Bentley gives it all he can, but it's not gonna be enough. And that's the same for the Cadillac. One Lamborghini and one BMW are gonna live to race again, but we have some more casualties. Cadillac loses one of their 3 cars and Bentley loses one of their 2. It's gonna come down to the wire for that manufacturer, but next up, we've got some more manufacturers. We got Dodge taking on the track for the first time, along with Corvette on the inside with BMW and Ford on the outside. All right, let's see who takes it going into lap 1. Look at that, it's carnage up the inside. It's gonna be the Corvette moving up from his 3rd place position. The Viper's gonna move back to 2nd, then the BMW's 3rd, and the Ford GT is in 4th. A huge push from the Corvette propels him to 1st. Viper's in 2nd, let's see what happens. It's neck and neck as they go into the turn, but again, it's gonna be the Corvette and the Viper driving away from the competition. BMW 3rd, Ford GT's 4th, no change as they go into lap 3. Lap 3, it looks like a dominant show by the 2 cars up front. Let's see what happens. A huge push from the BMW is going to propel the Corvette to the victory. The Viper is going to hold on to his 2nd place, and there's nothing that these back markers can do. The Ford GT and the BMW are both eliminated. Ford loses their 2nd car, BMW loses 1, and Viper and Corvette both move on with their 1st cars. Up next, we got some new manufacturers in the race. We got Mercedes and Nissan both in there with Cadillac and Aston Martin ready to run again. Let's see who stays out front after lap 1. Look at that, it's a huge run from those outside cars. The Cadillac is gonna pull away with it. The Nissan's gonna move from 4th to 2nd. The Mercedes falls back to 3rd, pushing the Aston Martin back to 4th. The Cadillac looks like it's got some speed. Now it's getting pushed by the Mercedes. Let's see what happens after lap 2. Look at that, close into the turn, but it's going to be Cadillac once again dominating with Nissan behind. The Mercedes and the Aston Martin going to have one more chance to push their way through to the top 2. Here we go, comes down to lap 3. Can the 2 leaders maintain their lead, or will there be an upset? Let's find out. Look at that, the Mercedes looks on the inside of the Nissan, but it's not going to be enough. The Nissan just rolls its way to 2nd place, and dominant performance from that red Cadillac, and it's going to be the Aston Martin and Mercedes coming up short this time. Cadillac, now one of the most prominent showers in the 2nd round, is going to move on along with Nissan in their solo car. We lose an Aston Martin and a Mercedes to the losers pit, and we've got some fast cars up next. We've got another BMW up against the Lamborghini with the last Ford GT behind alongside that solo Audi. Who's pushing you can make all the difference. Let's see what happens after lap 1. Look at that, a big push from the Audi to the Lamborghini. The Lamborghini is going to take the lead, but the Audi loses 2nd place to the BMW, passing him on the outside. There are no changes to the front row. The Ford GT falls back to 4th. Audi moves up to 3rd. These cars have the same pusher, but now they've swapped lanes. Let's see what happens after lap 2. Oh, it's going to be close around the corner. The Lamborghini's going to hold off a hard charge from that BMW. The Audi's going to hold quick, but not fast enough. Ford GT hangs out in 4th. There's been no changes to the lanes, and it all comes down to this. This is the last Ford entered in this tournament. If they lose, their hopes and dreams of the Triple Crown are over. Let's see what the Lamborghini and BMW can do in the front row. This is going to be a close one. Look at that, Lamborghini moves to the outside to defend. He's going to move on, and the Audi is going to move in front of that BMW on the last lap, moving on. It's going to be unfortunate for Team Ford as their last car finishes last and will not be moving on. A very clutch moment for Audi, keeping their championship dreams alive, finishing with that R8 alongside the Lamborghini. Unfortunately, it is over for Ford as all 3 of their cars have been eliminated. And when it comes to the BMW camp, only 1 has moved on, 2 have been eliminated. We've got a few more matchups to go. Starting with a fan favorite for this matchup, we got Porsche on the inside, Mercedes on the outside, with the American Corvette pushing the Porsche and the Renault pushing the Mercedes. Let's see what happens after lap 1. Mercedes holds a dominant lead as they all go single file down the straightaway. Corvette looking to pass the Renault, but it's not going to be enough. The Renault holds second alongside the Mercedes, with Corvette and Porsche falling back to last. As we move to lap 2, the Renault is now on the front row. Let's see what happens. Can the Renault get a run on the Mercedes? It doesn't look like it. Mercedes is going to hold his dominant lead through lap 2. Renault is going to match the outside for lap 3. With Corvette pushing the Mercedes and the Porsche still in last. Can all be decided here. Porsche's one chance for the Triple Crown could end here, and it could also end for Renault's hopes of winning this tournament, but the Renault's in the front row. Let's see what happens. Huge push from the Corvette on the Mercedes. The cars are going to even out, and it's going to be a calm end to the race. Mercedes and Renault move on, with the Porsche moving up to 3rd and the Corvette moving back to 4th. Both of these cars will not be moving on. Mercedes and Renault both get cars into the next round. Corvette loses one out of the roster, and Porsche will not be competing for a championship. But we've got a highly anticipated matchup here. We got the last Mercedes and the last Bentley, the last Toyota, and the last Aston Martin. Sorry, not the last Toyota. Toyota shows up, but we got the last Aston Martin in this one. Let's see what those cars on the front row can do after lap 1. It's neck and neck into the corner. The Aston Martin spins. It's going to be the Toyota pulling a lead, with Bentley holding second as the cars behind battle it out. The Mercedes falls back to 4th, and Aston Martin looks like it's setting itself up for a good lap 3. Let's see what happens on lap 2. Look at that. The Bentley pulls ahead of the Toyota this time, and the Mercedes is actually going to battle the Toyota all the way. But look at that. The Toyota pulling the lead back at the very last second, traveling farther than that. Bentley is going to hold first, and the Bentley's going to hold second. Aston Martin moves back up to 3rd, and the Aston Martin wrecks on the turn. Lap 3, top 2 move on. The top 2 cars at the front do not have a car in the next round yet. Let's see what happens. Toyota falls back a little bit. The Aston Martin's going to spin. The Bentley's going to take the lead, and the Toyota's going to finish second. Mercedes does not have the speed it takes to make a pass, and the Aston Martin is going to spin out once again. Just like that, Toyota and Bentley keep their hopes alive for the victory. Mercedes and Aston Martin both lose out on their last car, which means there's only one Mercedes and I think one Aston Martin competing in this next round, but we have one more round to go. In the first round, we got a Toyota, a Corvette, a Lamborghini, and a Dodge. Dodge, Lamborghini, and Toyota are looking to get all of their cars into the next round, when Corvette would like just another one. Let's see what happens after lap 1. Look at that, the Toyota is going to spin out on the backstretch. What a backstretch. The Viper is going to hold second as he makes a pass on the Corvette, and it's going to be the Lamborghini just driving away into the sunset. Lamborghini and Dodge seem to be the most dominant manufacturers in this tournament so far, but these cars are even. Can the Toyota or Corvette make something happen? They go in even into lap 2. It's going to be an even drag to the finish. Lamborghini's going to take the win. Dodge is going to hold the outside line. The Corvette and the Toyota fall behind. We've got one more lap to go. Can Tony Breidinger make anything happen in that Toyota starting 4th? It's going to have to beat this Lamborghini, who has been dominant this race. It all comes down to this. Who will be moving on? Lamborghini gets a push, but he spins. The Corvette's going to make an inside move on the Viper. Lamborghini, despite the spin, is going to take the win. Corvette moves up to second. He will be moving on to the next round. And unfortunate exits for both Toyota and Dodge. An insane matchup leads to an insane second round. As you can see, both Dodge and Toyota didn't get their second cars into the next round on that race, but Lamborghini did. Lamborghini got all 3 of their cars into the next round. Corvette got 2, Renault got 1, Cadillac got 2, Aston Martin got one, BMW got one, and then the Nissan and Audi teams, both solo teams, also moved on. Viper also got one as well. As we move into the second round, the rules are the same. Let's get these matchups set up, and the racing gotta keep going. The fastest cars move on, and this time we've got all fast cars. Got the Cadillac and the Aston Martin in the first row, and then the Lamborghini and the BMW in the second row. Let's see what happens. Oh, the Cadillac's gonna spin out in front of the Lamborghini, and it's gonna be an insane move from the BMW, slicing between the cars and taking the lead going into lap 2. Aston Martin's gonna hold the second place position, Lamborghini's gonna stay in third, and the Cadillac's gonna move all the way back to fourth. As we go into lap 2, the Lamborghini is now pushing that BMW, both very fast cars. Let's see what happens. Look at that push from the Lamborghini, but he gets loose off of the orange track. The Aston Martin's gonna chase down the BMW on the backstretch, but it's not gonna be enough. And look at this, Lamborghini now battling the Cadillac for last place as we go into lap 3. It all comes down to this: can the Lamborghini make a fourth, the first comeback on the last lap, or will it be BMW domination once again? Let's find out. Look at that push from the Lamborghini. The Lamborghini's gonna be a huge wreck at the end of turn 1. All of the cars do not make it past the restart line. We're gonna run again. As we go into overtime, the cars' positions are reset. They've got to pass that restart line. Let's see who takes it. A huge push from the Lamborghini around the outside. The BMW and Lamborghini battle. BMW is going to spin out in front of the Lamborghini. The Aston Martin's going to run away with it. And the Lamborghini tries its best, and it will not be moving on. That BMW was just too quick. He will be moving on. And again, another unfortunate day for the Cadillac driver. An insanely hard-fought battle from the Lamborghini, but it's not going to be enough. Lamborghini loses their first car in the tournament. BMW and Aston Martin both move on to the next round. For our next matchup, we have 3 American teams and 1 Japanese team. We got Corvette on the inside with the Viper on the outside, followed by the Cadillac and Nissan behind. Let's see what happens after lap 1. Oh, it's a huge push from the Cadillac, and the Cadillac's gonna spin out the Corvette. The Corvette, though, comes back backwards, and it's gonna maintain his front row spot. Wow, what a run. The Cadillac was wasting no time, shot up to first, spun out the Corvette, who managed to redeem his second, with the Viper in third, and the Nissan still in fourth. Going into lap 2, that red Cadillac has something to prove. It's gonna get pushed by the red Viper for this lap. Let's see what happens. The Cadillac actually slows down and allows the Corvette to win, and it's going to be a close battle for second. The Cadillac falls back to second, Viper holds third, and the Nissan holds fourth. They are jostling for positions up in the front, but only 2 cars can move on. Which teams will move on and which teams will go home? Let's find out. Look at that, the Cadillac around the outside, and the Corvette is gonna wreck. A horrible wreck by the Corvette. The Cadillac's gonna take the win, and the Nissan is gonna pull an unlikely second place. An incredible run from the Nissan. The Viper, unfortunately, not gonna be moving on, and the Corvette flips, is now on his roof, and will not be going anywhere in that condition. What an unfortunate race. One of the Corvettes is eliminated and the Viper is eliminated, which means Dodge is now out of contention for this championship. We got Cadillac and Nissan moving on to the next round, and that's 4 manufacturers out of the 4 spots claimed in the next round. Next up, we have another Lamborghini on the inside, with the outside being that Audi team with Mercedes and Renault in the back. Let's see what happens. It's gonna be close, but the Audi's gonna cover off that Lamborghini's line, holding the lead after lap 1. The Renault's gonna move up to third. Mercedes is in fourth. As we go into lap 2, that Audi car is in first. Let's see what happens. The Lamborghini's gonna pull a lead, and the Audi's gonna fall back all the way to fourth. Lamborghini blocks the run from the Mercedes as we go into lap 3. Renault's in third, and the Audi from first to last. The Lamborghini's back up in first, and the Mercedes is now on that outside row. Top 2 move on. Who will it be? Look at that, the Mercedes around the outside is gonna take the lead and is gonna pass the Lamborghini. The Renault has speed, but isn't able to get around that Super Trofeo. It's gonna be the Mercedes and the Lamborghini both moving on to the next round, with the Renault and Audi, unfortunately, are out of this tournament. Unfortunately, that's gonna end the Team Renault and Team Audi hopes for the win in this tournament. Mercedes and Lamborghini are going to be battling for the tournament win, and we've got one more race to go before the semifinals. The only teams with a car in the next round is currently Lamborghini. We got Bentley, Toyota, and Corvette all looking to move on. Let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. Bentley almost gets spun out by the Toyota going into the turn, but it's going to be a win from the Bentley for lap 1. Corvette's going to move up to P2. The Lamborghini is going to get stuck behind the Toyota as they go into lap 2. As we go into lap 2, the Lamborghini's now in last. Let's see what happens. A huge push from the Lamborghini is going to propel the Corvette into first, but the Lamborghini is going to come back from fourth to first. He's going to take the lead going into lap 3. The Corvette's going to move to the front row with the Toyota and Bentley being pushed to the back. We got one lap to go. It all comes down to this. The Lamborghini went from fourth to first. Who says the Toyota can't? We got one more race to go. Whose championship hopes will stay alive? The Lamborghini with an insane run. He's going to outrun that Corvette to the finish line. An insanely fast matchup, but the Corvette's going to take it. Toyota and Bentley are unfortunately out of the tournament. And here you have our semifinals matchups. We've got 8 cars, 7 teams competing. It's going to get really close as we go into the finals matchup, but who are going to be the 4 cars competing for the title? Balance out the matchups. We got the Cadillac and the Nissan are going to go up against the Lamborghini and the Corvette in the second round of the semifinals, but the first round of the semifinals is going to be Aston Martin, BMW, Mercedes, and Lamborghini. Let's see who takes it. Semifinals, lap 1. Huge jump from the BMW off the line, but it's going to be the Aston Martin with a huge push from the Lamborghini. Going to move to the front for lap 2. BMW falls into third with Mercedes in fourth. This Aston Martin is racing its wheels off, currently in first, in front of the Lamborghini in second. Let's see what happens. Lap 2, it's going to be the Lamborghini jumping on that inside, but he stops the crowd. It's in front of the restart line, so there will not be a restart. The Lamborghini holds its first place going into lap 3. Mercedes moves up to second, BMW third, and the Aston Martin is pushed back to fourth. Going to be pushing the Mercedes into lap 3. Aston Martin first to last going into lap 3. The top 2 cars will move on to race in the finals. Who will they be? There's only one way to find out. Huge push from the Aston Martin is going to give the Mercedes the lead. Mercedes takes the win going into the semifinals with the Lamborghini trailing him in second. The BMW and the Aston Martin gave it all they could. 2 very fast, dominant cars in this GT tournament, but they will not be moving on to fight for a championship. Valiant performances from the BMW and the Aston Martin, but it's not going to be enough as Mercedes and Lamborghini move on to the finals matchup. Now, who's going to race against them? We've got some fast contenders. We got that red Cadillac who has just shown so much speed on the inside, with the outside being that Tomica Team Nissan car. Unbelievable that it's made it this far. With behind, we got another Lamborghini and a Corvette to try and make something happen. Let's see what happens. Lap 1. Lamborghini with a huge push on the Cadillac. It's too wide down the backstretch. It's going to be the Cadillac taking the win with Corvette second, Lamborghini third, Nissan back to fourth. So far for this tournament, it's been domination for that red Cadillac. Let's see what happens after lap 2. Red Corvette around the outside is going to make the pass, but it's going to be a switchback from the Cadillac, taking the lead over the Corvette, hitting him on the way back. Unbelievable duel between these 2 cars up front, and we have a wreck in the back. The Lamborghini and the Nissan just cannot get around each other on that turn. We got one more lap to go before the finals, and it's getting close. It's going to be a dogfight from the 2 American cars in the front, Lamborghini and Nissan in the back. Who is going to move on to the final matchup? It all comes down to this. Cadillac spins on the turn, Lamborghini on the inside. Lamborghini's gonna take the win in front of the Cadillac as these 2 move on to the finals matchup. Corvette unfortunately loses out on the last stretch, and that is also gonna be the end of the day for the Tomica Nissan team. Unfortunate, but incredible racing. A hard-fought battle from the Corvette and the Nissan. Their championship hopes end there. We now have our finals matchup. We have a Mercedes and a Cadillac taking up the first row of the finals matchup, and then we have 2 Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeos who have raced their way to the finals matchup starting in that back row. Now the finals matchup is for all the glory, so this is going to be 5 laps instead of 3. The leader at the end of lap 5 will be your victor, who is going to take home the GT3 Cup Championship. 2 Lamborghinis in the back, Mercedes in the front, Cadillac in the front. Let's see what happens. Cadillac's gonna get a big push from that orange Lamborghini, and they are just flying. It's gonna be Cadillac, Lamborghini front row with the Mercedes and the white Lamborghini taking up the back row. As we go into lap 2, we got some teamwork going on. We got the Lamborghinis lined up on the outside. Cadillac still holding the lead. Let's see what happens. Look at that, the orange Lamborghini spins out on the straightaway after taking the lead. It's gonna be the Cadillac taking the lead for lap 2. Then it's gonna be the orange Lamborghini. Then it's gonna be Mercedes. Then it's gonna be the white Lamborghini. So no changes across the board going into lap 3. That orange Lamborghini is so fast, it's literally spinning out of control on the straightaway. Let's see what happens after lap 3. A huge push from the white Lamborghini is gonna propel the orange Lamborghini to the lead. Orange Lamborghini takes first, red Cadillac takes second, and then it's a close one. Third and fourth, it's gonna be the white Lamborghini taking up third over the Mercedes. We got 2 laps to go. Going to lap 4, the Lamborghinis are now on the inside. It's close going into the first turn, but look at that, they're jostling for position. Lamborghini's gonna take the lead. Cadillac in second, Mercedes third, Lamborghini in fourth, with 1 lap to go. It all comes down to this, and there's drama on the starting line. The Lamborghinis are now separated, with the white Lamborghini pushing the Cadillac and the orange Lamborghini getting pushed by the Mercedes. Will the white Lamborghini accidentally push the Cadillac to the win? Will the orange Lamborghini just run away with it? Or will there be a wreck and go to overtime? It's hard to say, but this matchup makes the tournament come down to this. I don't know what that meant, but okay, let's go. Oh, and the Cadillac shoves the orange Lamborghini into the bottom of the turn. An absolutely filthy move by that red Cadillac to take the win. It's going to be the white Lamborghini pulling up second and the Mercedes pulling up third. An unbelievable wreck from the orange Lamborghini. That red Cadillac just squished him down the track, absolutely destroyed him, and it's going to be the Cadillac taking the win. All is fair in love I war, I guess. That red Cadillac absolutely dominated this tournament though, and that cannot be disputed. The red Cadillac number 2 car is going to be your victor today, with the white Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo pulling up a 2nd place, and at the bottom of the podium we got the Mercedes-Benz AMG team. An absolutely dominant performance by that AMG GT3 car. Very close racing, and unfortunate for that orange Lamborghini. Lost it on the last lap. It all came down to the last lap, which is absolutely crazy, and it's gonna be the Cadillac moving on and being your victor of the GT3 Cup Championship. Thank you guys so much for watching this championship and the first race of the John Racer 3 Triple Crown. Cadillac takes the win in their Cadillac GT3 car, the ATS VR as you can call it, and Cadillac will be competing for the victory in the Le Mans video coming out in the next few weeks. If Cadillac can win all 3 of the Crown Jewel races, Cadillac will become the first JR3 Crown Jewel champion, but more information to come about that in the next coming tournaments. But for now, bask in the glory, because the Americans have won the GT3 Endurance Championship with the Cadillac CTS-V. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace!